Alright guys, I'm back. The piece is dried. I took off for about an hour, made some dinner, sat down for a minute, and ate while this was drying. You guys can see it. It's kind of dull, but you can polish it up with a microfiber cloth and it'll really buff the black out. There's also some glosses that you can buy that'll help you bring the shine out of it too. Anyway, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to have to punch some holes in it so I can line it up and rivet it to my backing here. So I think what I want to do first is punch the holes in this. It would be easy to punch them both at the same time, but I think I want to punch them in this first, and then I'm going to lay it on top of my backing piece, figure out where exactly I want it, and then I'll mark it and punch my backing piece. What I've got here is a simple hole punch. It's just a leather hole punch. It's about, I don't know, $5-6 at Hobby Lobby. And I have a little baby hammer, a little 8-ounce hammer. It's kind of handy. It was given to me as a gift, as a joke, but turns out I use it. So I'm going to put 3 rivets in it, so I'm going to put one up at the top, one in the middle, and one on the bottom. Basically, you set your your hole punch on there. Make sure you got something hard. I tried it with some wood underneath it. It didn't give me enough support, so this piece of granite here works a lot better. So. There we go. Popped a nice little hole in it. It's good for my rivets. The cool thing about this one is the leather will actually come inside here and then exit out the hole here whenever it gets full. So you don't have to stop and unclog it every time you strike it. So. There we go, 3 holes, too easy. I can tell I'm all the way through whenever I hear a change in the sound of it. It kind of deadens and then it makes a high-pitched sound once it finally hits the granite. So you don't want to use your punches too much on a granite surface. It's going to wind up tearing your tip up. But at the same point, tips are ridiculously cheap, and your kit comes with about 15 of them. So not 15, but there's probably about 10 different tips in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up. Make sure it's kind of where I want it. Then I will mark it. And then tap my holes for, that's good right there. I'm gonna mark it, and then I'll pop my holes for my other rivets. That way I can rivet it all together. Alright, just marked them with an ink pen, as you can see on there. So those are my holes. This is a lot thinner leather, so it should punch pretty easily. I say that, and that one didn't want to come out, but it could work. Didn't really want to punch through on a couple of them, so I'm going to take my awl and I'm just going to push it all the way through there. Probably a product of me using my my hole punch on this granite. If it was a block of wood, it wouldn't dull it as quick, but this is kind of a thin leather backing, so not much meat to push out either. But anyway, easy fix. There we go. We have our holes. Should line up pretty doggone well with that. And next step is to rivet it. So here are my rivets here. I have them out of the package already, but they're basically a simple rivet that I got from Hobby Lobby also. There is a long shanked piece. There's also a button piece that's going to fit on top of the shank piece and make it into a barbell looking device. And then once you snap those two together, take your hammer, pound them down, flatten the rivets out, and they hold pretty well. I actually have another holster that I've made using rivets instead of using stitching, because I don't like to stitch. It's a lot of work, and I don't have a quality machine to stitch very well, and my hand stitching is not that good. I have hand stitched before, and I'll show you guys a part of my hand stitching. It turned out really well, but I didn't really care for it. So key is on these rivets is kind of do it one at a time. It's kind of a pain in the butt to rivet something that is moving around and you're holding them and everything else. So basically what I did was I stuck the pointed end through the bottom, and then I put the cap on top. And once that's steady, make sure your holes are lined up. I'm going to take my hammer again, and I'm going to flatten out the rivet. Flattened it out pretty well on here, flattened it out pretty well on there. Makes a strong bond. Too easy. Just repeat the process through it. And it's not the end of the world if you screw one of these rivets up. Take out your line pliers, your line dikes here, kind of come up underneath it and snip it. I had to do it on one of my first holsters that I made like this. I kind of messed up a rivet and missed it, and didn't hit it quite right, and it didn't form out right, so I had to take it apart and redo it. But not a big deal. Like I said, you can just cut them with a pair of line dikes and be done with it. Alright, my camera just shut off on me, so I'm going to make this quick. Pound down your rivets. I believe the battery's running a little low on it. It's probably what's going on again. I need a better video camera. This is just a point and shoot camera, and it's all I can really afford right now, so this is what you guys get. There we go. Holsters finished. Outstanding. Here is another holster that I built with the other rivets that I made. This is for my 1911. It's a The belt comes in through here, goes through the bottom, through your belt loop, out this side and around. I also put this United States Army concho on there because I was in the Army. And anyway, you can really see the indentions on this a lot better. It's a little bit thinner of a leather when I spooned it out, but you can definitely see from the injection port and when the barrel comes into the slide there, and then the trigger guard. So there's the other one that I built out of rivets. I think it looks kind of neat. Nobody else has rivets on any of their on their holsters. So, but here it is, a tuckable inside the waistband Smith & Wesson Sigma holster for cheap, and it'll probably last a lot longer and be a lot better than the Uncle Mike's. But anyway, this is Island Prepper saying thanks for watching, and y'all have a good evening.